Yeah. It's a great place. It's a great place. I started right now. Such a couple.
Oh, okay. But it's not doing it. That was another.
Guys are going to be up there.
She can't always be. She's fine. Go.
You got it. I'm January 1.
Yeah.
So, just have to go. Yeah. It's going to delay everything. January was cold.
Can we hear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ken is coming.
It was a good time. Yeah, it was just the water was cold.
It was so defiled once I was so
Stay home, not to stay home.
tend to be usually like an average. And I still suffer.
It's great. I enjoy that. I more relaxed.
Way back. We're door closed. Door open.
It's not limited to residents, and that's why I think, because like I get requests from people from California, New Jersey, like all the time. And it's any. Listen, they just have to be a citizen. They're like a resident of the United States.
You haven't been there?
I have. I didn't go once. Except that seller that I know. I didn't have before. I did all.
It's all compact.
Symbols for the Christmas display and all that. As they get close to the nomination, they have
It's a good time to go, especially now. It's not that hot. They just finished October. That's what happened. Okay. I would say it's right. It's over.
I know what you're at first, and I can't remember the name of it.
I love it.
Yeah, they include the Islamic holidays.
I can't do it.
We should do better. It's an amazing international population.
Dancing. They got karaoke in the shop, bar. You know, I do a little spot. Like, what's going to happen? Fat Tuesday. I would just notice the fun.
Thanks, Darren.
It's nice that you can have sunset view.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the West Goshen Township Board of Supervisors meeting for Thursday, November the 6th. To start the meeting, will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be aware this meeting is being live streamed on YouTube and may be audio or video recorded by people present in the room. Our first item of business is the opportunity for public comment. Is there anybody here tonight who wishes to make a comment or ask a question of the board or staff about something that is not on the agenda this evening? Stephen?
Good evening, Board of Supervisors. Just have three brief questions and statements. Number one, I've been in touch with the Director of Historic Preservation for the Delaware Nation. They're very concerned about the high likelihood of a Native American Lenni Lenape burial ground at 905 West Town Road, and they're monitoring the situation very closely as we progress through this process. Second point is I had a question as to whether or not the conservatorship hearing is still on track for Monday, November 10th at 1:30 p.m. in Westchester. And number three, if there is, this is approved, if there will be a conservatorship plan that will be published to the website or added to future agenda items for the public to comment on. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Chris, as far as I'm aware, the hearing is still scheduled for November the 10th.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've not been provided with any information that it's been rescheduled.
I believe it's on the 7th floor at Judge Furway's courtroom.
Yes, courtroom 2.
Courtroom 2, okay. And then with respect to the conservatorship document that we have so far, is that posted on the website already or what?
It is not posted on the website, but it would be a public record that would be subject to disclosure under the right to know law.
Okay. So you would prefer to have someone request it, or does the board want to post it?
That's a policy decision for the board if you'd like the petition posted, or it can be subject to disclosure. Either option is fine with me.
I mean, we basically referenced it and read it out at a public meeting, so I don't see why you shouldn't just post it on the website.
I don't see any reason why not.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else with a comment or question for the board? All right, then we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is agenda item number 4, final discussion regarding the holiday light installation in West Goshen Community Park. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you.
You have an update for us, I believe.
Yeah, the committee has not been able to meet together, but I have spoken to all the committee members in person. And there were some concerns raised at the last meeting about religious symbolism in any of the lights. The lights will just simply be white lights at Community Park with an archway at the entrance, some string lights near the amphitheater, and with the gazebo decorated in white. And again, this is how decorated in the theme of Winter Wonder lights. So keeping that as generic as possible. Now there will be a kickoff celebration on Friday, November 21st, 5 to 7 p.m. And at that, there will be Santa Claus, there will be cartoons being shown, but we will incorporate Hanukkah and any other holidays, as well as Christmas, into those presentations. And we will have a brass band performing holiday music, but again, they're not going to be doing any religious music.
November 21st.
I know.
Coming up. Where are we with like the status of
We have all the lights ordered and delivered.
Wow.
We will be installing everything, not next week, but the following week, the week of the display at Community Park. And we are working with Dandelions to get out special notes about.
Okay. So it'll be on social media.
Correct.
Will it go out into a newsletter in time?
It will go out in the November electronic newsletter. It
Well,
will-
the November electronic newsletter will actually go out that day. So I believe that's why Ken's working with them to kind of push special
Correct.
notification out to everybody.
Okay.
Also, Ken, please include any Islamic holiday reference as well.
Yeah, we can.
Jewish as well as the Christian.
We can do that easily.
Sure.
Yep.
Any other questions for Ken?
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, thank you, and to the team that's been working on it. We appreciate it, and we look forward to it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is item number 5, which is discussion and possible awarding of the bids regarding the West Goshen Township wastewater treatment plant for magnetite, sludge hauling, and polyaluminum chloride. So before the board this evening are the results of the bids for these 3 items related to the West Goshen Township wastewater treatment plant. The following items were placed out to bid: magnetite, dewatted sludge hauling, and polyaluminum chloride. The bids were opened on November the 5th, and the apparent low bidders were as follows. For dewatted sludge hauling, Charles Blazensky Disposal Company with a 1-year proposal at $545 per load and a 3-year proposal of $595 per load. Polyaluminum chloride was Univar Solutions, Inc. with a 1-year proposal at $3.68 per gallon. Both apparent low bidders are the existing providers for these services and products. Additionally, the low bid amount for dewatted sludge hauling represents a 3.81% increase compared to the 2025 contract, while the low bid amount for polyaluminum chloride represents a decline of 3.66% compared to the current contract. And we have a tabulation that was provided to the board and is available as part of what Chris posted to the website. Please be advised, board, there were no bids for magnetite. This item has been rebid, and the results will be presented at the December 2nd meeting for the board's consideration. I will note that the magnetite is not really subject to competitive bidding. There appears to be only one supplier in the U.S. capable of meeting the requirement. Okay, so one discussion item, as far as I can see, is whether the board is interested in a 3-year contract with Charles Blazensky for sludge hauling. I would note, I did a quick calculation, it represents a 4.5% per year increase for the 3-year. And I think this was presented last year with a similar sort of increase. And when in actual fact, the increase for this year was only 3.8%. So from what I can see, a 1-year contract would be a better option based on what we're seeing year on year. Board thoughts on this one?
Is the idea that with the 3-year that it would be locked in at that price
That's
every
correct.
year? And not subject to an increase if we were to do year by year?
That's correct.
How much is it, what did we do last time?
We just went with year by year, right? We didn't, we just went year on year, yeah?
Traditionally, since I've been here, it's been an annual contract. If you do the 3 years, it locks it in at $595 per load for the entirety of the contract.
How about we've been paying up to now?
So it was, I don't remember I believe the rate was $525 a load this year. So even at the increase for the 1 year, you're looking at about $4,000 if the same number of loads are hauled in 2026 for an overall increase to that category.
There's more of a savings over the 3 years.
But it's not saying you're paying $595 a load. You're locking it in now at one price.
It's $50 more for the next 3 years. You're locking it in.
You're looking at it, yeah.
Percentage wise.
So, which is equivalent to a 4.5% increase if it was just a year-on-year increase. We're only seeing 3.8%.
Like it might go up to 565 next year, and then it might go up to 580.
Yeah.
That's my
it
point.
could.
So that's just a percentage for next year. You don't know.
You don't know what it's going to be. You're
Right.
exposed to potentially higher increases. But I would note you are getting, I won't call them competitive bids, but you are getting 3 bids for this particular disposal.
I guess the bottom line is what's the cost savings in 3 years versus 1 year? I know what it is for 1 year.
Well, there's no cost saving because it's a higher amount each year. It's a fixed amount, but it's a higher amount than a 1-year contract.
Right, whereas the 3 would be fixed,
Mhm.
knowing that it's going to be 4.5% each year as a
Right, right. I think we should do a one-year contract.
Sorry for the one-year contract.
I know.
Okay. I'll go with it.
All right, then I will make a motion to approve the dewattered sludge hauling to be awarded to Charles Blazinski for a one-year contract at $545 per load, and the polyaluminum chloride to be awarded to Univar Solutions, Inc. for a one-year contract at $3.68 a gallon. Is there a second? Thank you, Ashley. Any board comments or questions on the motion?
Just so the board is aware, last year for 2025, the low bid was $525 for the one-year contract, $575 for the three-year contract. So it looks like they're increasing their bids by like $20 a load each time they bid.
Thanks, Chris.
What's the problem with magnetite? Is that just not many vendors out there that would handle that particular product?
It's rare.
It's a rare product. We ran into this issue last year, and Mike's following the exact same procedure as we did last year. So if he rebids it and gets no bids again, then he can continue utilizing the vendor that he currently utilizes. We anticipate probably not getting any bids, but he's following I told him to follow the exact same process that we did last year.
And the usage isn't there.
It's not
People,
there.
the need is not there.
Or you can't just directly contract with them, like we have to put it out to bid, right?
I'm not 100% sure. I was going to talk to Kristen about that after we went through this process, but Mike's just going to, and he's simplifying the second go around so as to not incur the same cost that we went this time around. But if we can just utilize this one vendor, that would probably be best.
How is it advertised?
It's done in the Daily Local, and then the bids are opened up through PennBid. I believe he handles everything through HRG. But through the rebid, he's going to kind of do some cost savings since we're rebidding it. One thing I will note for the board, since we do have the budget discussion coming up on the 18th, and speaking with Mike about the results for the polyaluminum chloride, even though they went down, he is maintaining his numbers that he submitted to Christine for the budget, just to account for if there's any additional flow. So he is going to put in a buffer. He is going to include a buffer in there.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions from the board on the motion? Is there any public comment or questions on the motion? Okay, we're ready to take a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the motion passes 5-0. Next on the agenda is agenda item number 6, which is discussion and possible approval of resolution number 34, 2025, granting preliminary final land development approval for the plan of 800 North 5 Points Road, Farmer Block, proposing the construction of a 4,058 square foot building addition. I believe we have some representatives here.
Yes.
The applicant and Brian, would you mind introducing them and the subject?
So tonight before you is the land development plan for a Farmer Block. I have the parcel up on the screen. Farmer Block is currently utilizing the existing building. They have parking all around the building. The proposal is to add approximately 4,000 square foot addition to the rear of the building. Justin Brewer from Howe Engineering, our engineers, here to present the plan. In front of you is the plan. I'll bring the plan up here so he can more accurately describe it. And Carroll Engineering performed the review for this. They have issued a letter that I felt was clean enough to go through, so I issued a cover letter to the Planning Commission. This was discussed at the Planning Commission. There's a couple conditions which have been passed through in the motion from Kristen's office. The one item that Carol wanted the board to discuss was in reference to the charging stations. They're proposing to add 2 charging stations with a charger. Our ordinance requires 10% of new parking. They aren't proposing any new parking in the project. So Chris and I felt that it was something the board could just approve as is because we're providing more than one minimum space, we're providing 2. Our ordinance doesn't speak to retrofitting parking lots if you don't have parking.
Okay.
So that there's a couple waivers in their plan, one for stormwater, one for preliminary plan, final plan processing. The waiver was for
Using
MRC, yeah, using the MRC, which is a stormwater design methodology that the actually DEP created to address properties like this that have high groundwater and no infiltration, so you can actually mimic infiltration by using managed release concept that MRC stands for. DEP actually designed it, they created all the paperwork for it, and they put it so it's permitted now in the state as an alternative for a site that can't infiltrate. So.
So the MRC, where does the discharge go? Is it like pipe to
I'll
the
let-
ground?
Which plan do you want me to go to?
You can go to grading utilities, right?
I'm just curious as to what the MRC is.
So the MRC bed, it's a subsurface bed, it's right off of the rear of the building. It's tying into, there's existing storm sewer conveyance piping that we're rerouting around the building addition. It is tying into that system, which ultimately discharges to the existing basin in the rear of the property.
There's an existing stormwater basin on the property that they're just utilizing. Their discharge from their MRC is going into the existing basin.
And that's adequate, the basin size and all, right now? for
The existing basin,
existing?
the existing basin was designed and built under standards at the time it was built.
Right.
The MRC is designed to the current standards. So the release of the MRC could go into the basin, it could go into the stream, it could go into the street, it could go where it needs to go because they're designed to be released under our current ordinance. So the old basin is actually getting less water after this is done.
And does it meet the requirements that you had required in there?
Yes. In my letter, the only thing I talked about was the,
Pipe capacity, velocity, flow, HDL.
what comment number is that?
That's D. Stormwater management ordinance, chapter 71. And also under E, the first 1 and 2, talks about the
Yes, so.
MRC
Yes, so
calculations.
these are calculated, the project meets the requirements, the actual detailed information of the calculations. There's some pieces of it we're missing. They've already resubmitted the information since this letter's been issued. It's already been reviewed by Carroll Engineering. There's a draft letter waiting to see if there's any more conditions you impose tonight before I can release that letter.
Okay, so what
So
Carol
Carol-
suggested and you is all been handled.
They've already submitted for it, but I couldn't present it to you because it doesn't match the information that was presented to the planning commission.
Okay.
They've already done the work to resubmit it. It's already been reviewed by Carol. So depending on what conditions are imposed tonight, I can make sure those conditions are met before the plans can be released for the board.
How many people work at Farm Block?
I have Renee Gonzalez with me from Farm Block. He's
35. Thank you.
The EV charging stations that's being proposed, are these going to be EV-ready spaces, or are they going to be actual functioning EV charging stations?
I believe the intent is to install usable EV charging stations for their employees.
For
to
the
use.
employees, yes.
To be a level 2 charging station?
That's, sure, that's what, I'm not sure what
That's what our
level it is.
ordinance requires, you know.
Yeah.
I believe it says it's a level 2 charging station on the, I believe you talk about it,
Yeah.
that it's a level 2 charging station. It's not just, it's one station, 2 plugs, just like the standard station is. 2 spaces.
Well, in Chester County's letter, they said that the applicant and township should determine if any additional erosion control measures are required in order to prevent contaminants from entering the reservoir. Were there any additional? No, after you review the
No,
no
there's no-
additional contaminants?
No, there's no issue because it's all being contained in this area. They have an adequate plan to contain their erosion control. Because where they're working doesn't flow to the reservoir, it flows into the basin first.
So that'll treat some of the contaminants
If,
before it gets to the
if
reservoir?
they contaminate their basin, they're going to have to retrofit their basin. So they're going to have to protect their basin.
And we are proposing filter bags in the inlets that are in that parking area to get as much sedimentation out before it goes into the basin.
Is that carbon filtration? Or
No, it's just
regular-
for sedimentation.
17, okay.
Right, I have one question related to the existing basin. Is there an existing stormwater best management practice O&M agreement for that basin?
I don't think so, because it predates the ordinance requirements.
So since this is tying into that basin, can we require an O&M agreement that covers both the MRC and the existing
Because
basin?
the MRC drains into it, it'll have to be data on it.
Okay, so we
So,
could-
because it's on the plan's going to be recorded with the operation maintenance requirements. There is requirements on the plan that
But-
requires them to maintain the existing basin. It's on
Okay,
the plan already, so the plan is recorded, and that's what the O&M agreement
Would be
references
based
the
on.
plan.
Based on that.
so you'll be preparing an O&M that includes the basin, and if it doesn't include.
It doesn't necessarily include the basin, it just references the plans. The plans themselves talk about the operation maintenance of the existing basin. So
So-
our O&M agreements reference the plan. The
Yeah.
plan has the requirements of what they have to do.
For the basin?
Yes.
And that's being added, and that's new, because it doesn't exist today in terms of.
There's O&M requirements on the plan for the existing
Correct.
basin to keep it functioning.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
And is this in a flood hazard zone?
Not this portion of the property now.
Okay.
There is portions of the property in the flood hazard zone, but this portion of the property is not. They worked around it.
Is there any modification to this, the actual sanitary sewer as part of this building addition?
No. This map is inaccurate. There is a map that shows where the flood hazard line is. This map on the Chester County. I'll go back to your PDF
Yeah,
and show
we've
where
got
it
that
is.
line shown there.
It's their GIS department. They pulled it from somewhere. I don't know how big the data is. Does this plan show it?
I believe it does. It's floodplain is actually runs right along the rear of the property up to the existing basin. And it's actually the FEMA flood mapping is what shows the floodplain going into the building. We took a look at the elevations that are provided by the flood profiles that FEMA issues. And that's more of what you go by is what that said elevation is.
Yeah, here's
And-
see their hazard line is right along the back.
There you go.
Yeah, it was close, because what I saw, well, it was wrong that now I'm hearing, but I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
It's right, here's where it crosses the property line again.
Yeah.
That's the only two places on the
Was
property
it
that.
418 was that the elevation there, Brian? I think is what it was.
418, yes.
418, and what's the other one?
418 is the flood elevation.
Correct, so, and that's based off of the flood profile issued by FEMA, and whatever topography they used when they mapped it in the plan view was inaccurate and must have had a 418 contour or something running through that area.
That altered it, yeah.
Yeah, so the FEMA flood map is, and there is the previous plan when they did this development showed the floodplain where it is. That was
Okay.
recorded, so. But yeah, it's basically this little sliver here and this little sliver here, the only two pieces of the property that are of the elevation that would be in the floodplain.
And there's nothing in there now within the existing floodplain, the correct existing floodplain?
Nothing they're disturbing now.
Okay.
The only two portions of the property, I said, are like this little corner right here and this little corner right here. That's it, those only two portions of the property. Everything else to the left of that is outside the floodplain.
Okay.
That elevation is higher.
Did the planning commission have any comments or questions that the board should know about?
No,
No.
they deferred to you guys. On the charging stations, they deferred to you.
Okay. And the charging stations are shown on the drawings, right? So that's all part of the record here that we would be approving tonight. Okay.
What is this building going to be used for?
So it's going to be primarily, and correct me if I'm wrong, Renee, material storage and some R&D lab area.
Sure. EV charging station with bollards right here.
Okay. So that's being relocated from within the current building, and then you can free up
Yes.
some space for whatever you needed within the main building?
So research and development they do there, the FDA requires us to separate our clean chemicals from our used dirty ones. So we don't currently have that in the building, so it really helps the FDA when they come through and have that stuff separated. So part of that new building is to keep clean solvents in there for research and development for cancer research, whatever they got going on.
Okay.
So the lab that's going to be in that building,
So it's
where does it drain, where does the drain go to?
It'll have a French drain all the way around it.
Okay.
And there'll be a connection point if it does flood in there to be able to.
What about the chemicals going down the drain?
There's no chemicals going on in the
Oh,
drain.
it's not
No,
gonna be
it's
used
gonna
to
be
lab?
contained, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything they use inside the labs is small. They will take small quantities into the lab. It's not big quantities. We bring in large quantities, store it there, and chemists all take the small quantities they need to their human to do their chemical.
Analysis.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're mixing Spider-Man stuff together there.
Is this going to be a hazardous location? A hazard-
No, no.
Class 1, Div 1 or 2?
No, the room, it will be considered class 1 Div 2, just to make sure in case it does ever catch the fire, we'll be able to contain it. But other than that, no, the rest of the building where they work, it's all minimal. They use chemicals.
So it will be Class 1, Div 2.
The chemical storage will be, yes.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, is a board member willing to make a motion to approve resolution number 34, 2025?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any final board comments or questions on the motion? Is there any public comments or questions? Okay, we're ready to take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is item number 7, discussion and possible approval of the 2026 to 2028 service contract with Good Fellowship Ambulance Company. Chris, would you mind introducing this one?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Before the board this evening is the proposed service contract with Good Fellowship Ambulance Company. The proposed service contract would be effective from January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2028, and is intended to establish certain funding amounts, service level expectations, and coverage. The township previously entered into a service contract with Good Fellowship Ambulance Company in 2022 that covered the 2023 to 2025 period. Additionally, at the October 7th meeting, Charles Brogan, who's the executive director for Good Fellowship, presented budget information for the board's consideration. The contribution number outlined in that presentation has been included in the contract that's before the board. The proposed contract has been reviewed by the township solicitor, and the outstanding items have been addressed. One item that I want to bring to the board's attention relates to the cost increase outlined in section 4. Mr. Brogan provided an email dated September 25th that included certain language that was requested by another municipality to firm up the wording. It's before the board this evening for consideration on whether or not to include this in West Goshen Township service contract.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Board comments and questions on the contract?
Yeah, I have a couple. Do we know with section 5, which is the assessment of contributions, which means the amount, if they get any money from, in the form of contribution from an assisted living facility located within that area, then our amount would be decreased by that amount owed. I was wondering, did they get any from where our amount would be depleted as a result of section 5?
I don't believe so, just because the one facility that would be subject to that through the conditional use process hasn't been constructed yet. So I don't believe that there is anything that's been received that would reduce our contribution.
That would be the only one that would be in the township.
That's correct, because they're subject to that through the conditional use approval that was granted by the board. I don't believe any of the other facilities would be guaranteed to do those contributions.
Pembroke make any contribution?
I don't know the answer to that
Because
question.
there's other facilities in West Goshen, I'm just curious if annually they give it to them now or as a donation.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure. I can ask.
Yeah, because that would affect our amount.
Well, the only one we've
Yeah.
actually built into an agreement with conditional use here, we have the Quality Inn where they are subject to a specific donation per room.
Right, but these guys may give them a donation already. And that
But
would-
if there's existing ones that are already donating to them, we should just ask Chaz to clarify whether that's the case.
And what is the amount? So that would lower our amount there, based on section 5. And also on section 14, I'm going to suggest that either we potentially delete it, or what I really suggest is that the township reserve the sole discretion whether to appoint a primary. Put the word whether in there and leave the section in there, section 14.
I had concerns about that section too. I mean, we've decided not to participate in the municipal advisory board, so I think
Yeah.
we should state that at this time, board, the township is not participating in the municipal advisory board. This decision may be revisited in the future at the board's discretion, something like that.
Or take it out.
We'll
Or
take
just
it
put
out.
the word whether in there. That
We
leave it
would actually
that.
recognize that the MAB exists and leave it flexible in terms of language indicating we're not participating now, but should in the three years of this contract, that decision need to be revisited. it in, we have the flexibility to do it.
Yeah, I don't even know if you need all that language.
Right, the way it's written now,
It's not
Just,
clear.
it's not clear. I like the word weather in there.
I think it's clear in the way it needs to be clear for a contract, that you have this reserve the sole discretion.
But only to a point, doesn't say whether we have any discretion in joining the board or not. I would like this to be clearer. I mean, I know our solicitor's
Yeah.
not here tonight, but I disagree that this is clear enough.
Yeah, it's not clear to me.
I'll note, this was not one of the paragraphs that Kristen had any concerns with, probably because she was reading it. I would venture to guess, and I didn't have any discussions with her, that she's probably reading it kind of the way that Brian was interpreting it. However, I understand what the board is saying about the potential ambiguity there.
Yeah.
So I would say, I think either option, what Mr. Walsh or Ms. Smith have presented, I think would satisfy it.
I think we should take it out. I don't think we
Well, it doesn't hurt just to keep it in, as long as we clarify it
Yeah, we may change our mind.
in the future. And it's generic enough legal language, and it's not affected one way or the other.
Okay, so Chris, I mean, what I'm hearing is the board would like you and Kristen to work up just a revised language for that, keep it in, but have it specifically that we're not participating at the start of this contract, but it's subject to potential future review by the township.
At any time,
Yeah,
unless you give me your language.
no, good. We'll let Kristen work it up. The other question that Chris raised was related to section 4 and the email that Chaz provided where another municipality requested a bit more definition around the request for an increase and in the particular circumstances where greater than 10% would be considered.
So it's the language in Mr. Brogan's September 25th email, it is the language outlined in red.
Did Kristen review this language?
Yes.
Did she have any issue with it?
She ultimately said it's a policy determination for the board.
I mean, the contract without this still allows a 90-day out clause for any reason at all, so.
Increase.
Or to what? We can either accept an increase, or we can say we don't accept an increase, and it says we would have a discussion and negotiation on it, and if it's still unacceptable, then we have a 90-day out clause, so.
That already says that.
Yeah, yes,
Says
exactly.
That's my point.
Yeah, I don't like adding more language because it looks like you fully define exactly the requirements when really.
Detail is not good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Vague and general is better.
Yeah.
And then if they did request more than 10%, they would have to justify it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's already in there.
Let them do that.
Which is what happened this year.
And if there's any ambiguity, it favors the party that did not draft the contract.
Yeah, but the contract can be, we can get out of the contract with 90-day notice. We're not stuck with this for 3 years, so.
My point is you probably don't need that additional language.
No, I agree.
Okay.
The least amount better.
Now, I will advise the board that this week I have seen a couple of emails from neighboring municipalities, I won't name who have expressed some hesitation about the amount of the increases being requested by the fire service and EMS service providers for this area. One of which
staff, or was it from other boards going to other municipal boards?
It was staff relaying the hesitation of their elected officials, with one of which saying that they would not agree, that their elected body would not agree to more than a 10% increase. Again, I won't name who, but I just want the board to be prepared that not every one of the municipalities in the service territory are prepared to fund to the levels that are in here.
So what I suggest there is we have a preliminary budget discussion, which we prepared using this number. We can revisit this in a couple of weeks and see if you've got any further information about what other boards are considering, and we'll have that discussion at the next public meeting.
Percentage-wise.
And I am not telling this to dissuade the board in any way, it's just to make sure you have all the information available to you.
Okay.
Would you be able to gather the percentages that they agree upon to
I don't-
the municipalities?
I only know of one that's agreed to what their percentage would, or has stated what they're willing to do.
Okay, so you don't know the percentage.
No,
I mean, you can certainly contact the township managers and say, what are you putting in your preliminary budgets? Because they all have to present preliminary budgets because of the 20-day notification is needed, so we're all going to have something before the end of November. So we're already preparing in terms of their preliminary budgets with respect to GFAC. Okay, so I think we've got two decisions there. One is to ask Chris to review language in section 14 and not to modify section 4.
You said it in conjunction with GFAC, should we have motions too? I know it's already known. They agreed to 2%.
Well, yeah, we were just talking about
I know
GFAC.
right now we are, but.
Are you seeing anything about Goshen's?
It's essentially both of them.
Okay, well
That's what I'm
then.
saying.
Yeah, absolutely, that's fine, bring that to the.
I mean, but our contract with Goshen has been extended for an additional year, so we're kind of already locked into a funding amount with
Yeah.
Goshen Fire Company.
I know, but you're on the phone anyway, talking, I would like to know the percentage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, so I was just explaining about the contract here, Chris, with the fact that we need a little bit of work on 14, how do you want to proceed, or how would you suggest the board proceeds with approving this tonight? And
Let's get the language cleaned up in section 14, and then I'll bring this back before the board.
at the next meeting, or is it going to be
Is there a time?
Next meeting, or, you know what, let's target December 2nd.
Very good. Thank you. Any public comments or questions about that discussion? Okay. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 8, discussion and possible approval of the 2026 meeting schedule for the Board of Supervisors. So Chris has prepared a memo here that before the board is discussion regarding the supervisors' 2026 meeting dates and times. Currently, the Board of Supervisors holds meetings on the first and third Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. In reviewing the potential meeting schedule for 2026, meetings will be held as follows. Does the board want me to read all these out? Okay. So the schedule has only 3 conflicts against holidays and other events. And based on that review from Chris, he's recommending the following adjustments for the board to consider. Move the meeting schedule for Tuesday, April the 21st to Wednesday, April the 22nd due to the annual PA State Association of Township Supervisors Conference in Hershey. Please note that the Historic Commission meets on April the 23rd. So that date would not be a good move date. Second one would be to move the meeting schedule for Tuesday, May the 19th to Thursday, May the 21st due to the primary election date being on the May 19th date. And then the third one is to move the meeting schedule for Tuesday, November the 3rd to Thursday, November the 5th due to election day, which is why we're here today. So any questions from the board on that?
Well, I just want to question about the movement, the date from Tuesday the 21st to Wednesday the 22nd, because I typically, and I believe another board member, would be there for the last day of the conference on Wednesday. I understand the Historical Commission is meeting on that same day. Could they not meeting in either A or B rooms and allow us to be able to utilize this room here on that Thursday?
That's a good point.
I can ask them.
What other day would you want?
No,
Just to hold it on the 23rd
Or I can ask the Historic Commission if they would move their meeting to the 22nd.
if they want. All right, so with that adjustment, Chris, I think we're committed to April the 23rd for that revised date.
Absolutely.
Okay, so having resolved that, we're looking for approval from the board for these meeting dates. So based on this, you would then advertise this before the end of the year, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the Board of Supervisors 26 meeting dates as just discussed.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the board? Any comments or questions from anyone here? All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none, the motion passes 5-0. Agenda item number 9 is approval of the Board of Supervisors meeting minutes from September the 2nd, 2025. I provided Chris with a couple of comments and corrections. I believe Nate has and John has. Is there any from Tina or Ashley? No. Any other questions or comments about the minutes? All right, I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from September the 2nd. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Nate. Any comments or questions on the motion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the motion passes 5-0. Agenda item number 10 is approval of the bills to be paid for the general fund, the sewer revenue fund, the waste and recycling fund, and the capital reserve fund. Does any of the board have a question on the bills to be paid? Chris, I have one. It's on the prepaid fund list. It's a check number, glasses, 103,700. It's for $211.61 for police fax lines. Are we still using faxes?
We actually do still have a fax machine.
Do we need it, or is it, I mean, what's it used for? Could we ask Chief Carroll to, could you follow Chief Carroll, ask him to say, is this fax line necessary given how people communicate these days?
Well, I know, I can certainly ask him. I know there are some providers who like things faxed due to the security level with them, but I can certainly speak with them.
Yeah, I would suggest that could be a little bit of work, might be able to change how that's done. And I don't know how frequently this bill is, but it says it's for 1 month, so a little way to maybe opportunity to save some money.
I can tell you, I mean, we still have faxes. We still have a fax line for the administrative office, and they come, it's done over a server. It's not done with paper anymore. They get emailed directly to me, and it's mostly contractor insurance certificates and junk.
That's true, actually, if it's fax, it's right to your email, or you can file it. It's easier electronically to do it that way. That's what I did with my fax.
There's still a phone number associated with it.
Yeah, but can you look up the phone number and save it? That's the question.
I can ask them.
But is there going to scan?
Okay. If you don't have an email instead of a phone number, sure that works fine. So. Anyway, Chris, you're looking to both of those, right? That was an action there. Thank you. All right, I'll make a motion. Is there any other questions on the board on any of the bills? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the bills to be paid. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ashley. Any comments or questions on the motion? All right, let's take a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, the motion passes 5-0. I motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:44. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor of adjournment say aye. Aye. Thank you, everyone. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.